everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Simplicity TV and Simplicity Couch Sessions. I am Jen Pike, your host, and I am joined by our on-team naturopath and Hormone Project health coach, Dr. Laura Anderson. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So we've been filming quite a few of these episodes here today on the couch because we get a lot of different questions that come in for you, or from you rather, and our whole platform is about education. One of the big questions that come in is about acne. So we get asked, what's causing my acne? What are the triggers or things that might make it worse? And what can I really do to be supporting and starting to diminish the amount of suffering that I have going on? So we're going to talk about this in a few different ways. I've definitely suffered from acne in the past, and I'm 40 years old and I still get the breakouts. So I know there's a lot of women who think that it's something you just get when you're in puberty or you were a teenager. That is a big lie. That is a big lie. And have you gone through periods of time of suffing from it as well?
Yeah, and it was actually one of the first things that led me to naturopathic medicine kind of in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Of really understanding what was happening with my acne. But yeah, grade 7, I remember I got acne all across here. It was scarring. I was on medication. And it kind of went away because, of course, I was suppressing it.
Yes.
But then it was coming out later, my later teenage years. And then that was the time frame that I kind of found naturopathic medicine.
Yeah.
And then working with a naturopath and finding certain foods and inflammatory foods were my big triggers.
Yeah. And that is the thing with skin, is that it all actually begins in your gut. So if you have acne, you have to address your microbiome situation. You have to address how well is your digestion going? Are you actually breaking your food down? Are you eliminating? If you're constipated and you aren't eliminating well, all of that recirculates back up into your body. And again, your body's really smart, and we have pores. We have holes for things to come in and holes for things to move out. And if your body is over full of that junk, if your insulin is not stable, we'll talk about different things with hormones, but your body's going to work to try and push that up and out to the surface. Yeah. The other thing about the skin on our face is it's very thin. And so it is definitely more delicate. Now, as a woman, and this is what I went through. So when I was, I was probably 14. I used to model when I was in my teens and in my early 20s, and I didn't have any acne at that time. But the agency I worked with put all of us on a lotion. We went to a dermatologist and we had this model serum. And I didn't know, and I didn't think to ask anything at 14 years old, and I guess my parents didn't either, but it had clindamycin in it. It had a 2% antibiotic. And I applied that to my skin morning and night until I was 24 years old. For 10 years, I was putting an antibiotic on my skin. I had no idea. I just thought it was the serum. Yeah. And I didn't get breakouts, so I didn't think anything was going on. I was also on the birth control pill from 15 to 22. Which the pill dramatically impacts your microbiome. It breaks down the lining of the gut. It has a huge impact on our hormones because it's suppressing our ovulation. Yep. So all this was happening behind the scenes. I was none the wiser. I came off the pill at 22, but I was still using the cream. So I, got a cycle back normally. I didn't have any acne, and then I came off the cream. And I moved to Australia that same year. So I thought, I'm in the sun more often, I'm backpacking, I'm probably just breaking out because of my lifestyle, right? I was partying a lot. I'm sure that wasn't helping. But then when I got pregnant, when I was pregnant with my daughter, gorgeous skin, pregnant with a boy, every recessive androgenic gene woke up. And I literally had an 8-year battle from the time I was pregnant with Sam until he was 8 years old with cystic acne. And I had to do a lot of digging, and it didn't show up. It was gut. I never thought I had digestive issues. I never had gas and bloating. I eliminated well every day. And it wasn't until I started to do deeper testing that it actually showed I wasn't breaking down protein efficiently.
Wow.
My urinary bile acids were higher. I had different things going on in my microbiome. I had a high level of beta-glucuronidase, so it was making my estrogen more potent. And my DHA was really high. We tested my Dutch. I started this testing in 2016. And so it illuminated for me the whole connection. And this is what I would say to you women listening. And if your kids are going through this, no topical cream is going to fix this. Accutane is not going to fix this. Tetracycline is not going to fix this. You have to actually do the foundational work. So when we're talking about the gut health,
yes,
what are some of the things that everyone should start to do in order to really optimize that?
Yeah. So again, I would say really looking at, of course, what you're eating, trying to have things that are not inflammatory. If there's foods that you don't digest well, don't eat them because they are getting in your system. They're not being broken down properly. They're creating just inflammation and they're just kind of sitting there. And we definitely don't want that. Having a really good quality probiotic that is non-dairy based is something that I would really recommend as well, to then help to kind of reduce the inflammation, help with some digestion, but then of course helping to move out with, bowel movements and kind of get those things out of your system. And then, I would...
Like digestive enzymes as well, too.
Absolutely. Looking, because a lot of the time people have, well, like you said, like they may not really feel that they have issues with digestion, but it could be because they're so used to not really feeling
Right, it's
so
just
great.
normal to them.
It's normal, right? I mean, I've definitely had patients where they never thought they were bloated until they weren't. And then they realized, oh my gosh, I spent years being bloated, right? And so, that's something else too, is to just really be open and to try certain things. But digestive enzymes are amazing of helping to digest your food and to make sure that there's not as much inflammation in your gut.
I'd say omegas, getting enough omegas as well too is really important. But doing food sensitivity testing, I think, is real, especially if it's a real struggle, because I would recommend that you take out the main inflammatory triggers like dairy and acne. Hand in hand. If you have acne, you need to come off dairy 100%, like 100%. It is a hormonal byproduct that is then interacting with your hormones and they do not get along. They create a ton of inflammation. It's the human growth factor and insulin factor that's in the milk and the A1 casein. So people who are like, yeah, but I drink lactose free. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Lactose for most people is not the big issue. It's the entire, it's all the components that are making that dairy up.
It's all the proteins, it's not the sugar in the
Exactly. And you talk to people who have really bad acne, yogurt, cheese, whey protein, like milk in their coffee and tea. They also consume a lot of sugar. And so it can feel, scary to people to take that out. But nowadays, oh my gosh, there's an alternative for everything.
Exactly. And even I have a lot of patients who say, well, I don't really drink that much. I might just have a little bit in my coffee or something like that. But it's still, if you're really sensitive to it and you already have that predisposition for your inflammation and all of the stuff coming out through your skin, every single day, that little bit is
you're just stoking the fire. You're just like poking the bear.
Yeah. And so, and again, there's some delicious, non-dairy creamers or milk that you can add into your coffee as a really simple replacement.
And the tricky thing too is that, if you're having this little bit, well, guess what else is happening in your body every day? A fluctuation of hormones. So if you have like your teens, when they're going through puberty, oh my gosh, their hormones are so hyper. Their adrenals are pumping out maybe too much DHEA, which is then causing a higher amount of androgens. Testosterone could be too high. Your daughter might not be ovulating yet, so then her estrogen is sitting higher. There's so many things going on. And then where you're at in your cycle. So in that second half of your cycle, like the 7 to 10 days leading into your period, this is where if you're having too much sugar, too much dairy, you're going to get the acne along with breast tenderness and PMS symptoms. So it really is about paying attention. How does your body respond? Now, I know I said that, no creams or oils and things like that are going to cure your acne, but using better quality products is definitely going to help you. And so if you go back onto my YouTube channel here on Simplicity TV, you'll see I've done DIYs with different oil cleansing methods, and I've really talked about that. Also over on the Simplicity Sessions, I have 2 really good episodes with David Brook, who's the founder of Skin Essence, and we talk about the quality of products, what to choose based on your skin, and then I have a whole episode that is all about treating your acne naturally. Is there anything else that you can think of?
Yeah, and I would definitely say cheese is another big one.
Right.
It's something that...
I forgot to say that when I was saying dairy, because I don't eat, we have some goat or sheep cheese, but we use it like a condiment now, as opposed to a meal.
Right. I find people they really love their cheese, and it can be hard to get rid of because there may not be that perfect taste like, feels like, alternative sort of thing. But cheese is definitely something that you have to get rid of.
Yeah. It's a hard one. You know what it is? It's quick and easy.
Yep.
And it actually, releases oxytocin, which oxytocin is like, it's your hugging, intimacy, nursing hormone that just makes you feel good. And so it works on your neurotransmitters like dopamine. It gives you like a bit of a high. And, you know, I know it's challenging, but like I said, goat's cheese, sheep cheese, there's also different nut and seed-based cheeses now that you can do. You've got to really get away from the cow dairy-based ones. And so, listen, half of you might be like, la, 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 I'm not listening anymore, or I'm fine when I have it. Here's how you'll know. Take it out for 30 complete days, like 100%. You have to read your ingredients too.
Yeah, you would be blown away when you start looking at the labels of what is actually in there. It'll be sugar, it'll be like
buttermilk.
Yeah, exactly. All these different sources of milk, and then you'll think, wheat? Why would wheat be in there too? Those are the three things that enter into everything.
And stuff like when you have, like, you can get rice cakes, which should just be rice, maybe salt, but no, they have whey powder on it and buttermilk, because when they add flavoring, there has to be something to actually make it stick to the product, so that you, the customer, no matter what day of the month or week you buy that and have it, get the same taste and experience every time. So they oftentimes use dairy-based powders to actually hold the flavoring onto it. So who the heck would think, I'm eating rice cakes, I should check for dairy?
No, you wouldn't.
Right?
Yep.
And this is how I think so many people say, oh, I cut it out and it didn't make a difference.
Exactly.
It's, you probably haven't cut it out completely. And like Laura said before, the best way to describe this, and at this point now we're filming this, I've come through my functional medicine diagnostic program, and the different labs and that I've been looking at, and actually looking at imaging of gut lining and tissue. The individual who has a dairy sensitivity, who has, literally we're talking small molecules every day, the continued injury that happens to the junctions in their gut lining is astronomical. And when those junctions start to weaken and open up, this is how all of those protein antigens, which are in every food, get into your body and now impact your immune system. So any autoimmune condition that you have, any skin condition, like any type of issue that's going on, everything comes back to what's going on in that gut. So, you know, it's a journey. Like, it took me, honestly, it was probably 18 solid months of really clearing my skin up when I started to do the real work. Right. And it's been, well, Sam's 11 now, so 3 years, and I'll still have times where I break out, and it's my gauge. I know when I get the breakouts now, I gotta check myself. I gotta get back to doing my digestive enzymes. I gotta, you know, work on de-stressing a bit more, and what have I been eating? So, yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope that gave you a lot of tips and some things to think about, and I'm sure we'll receive a ton of emails about dairy from all of you, so bring it on. We are ready to answer them. Have an awesome rest of your day, everyone.